Welcome to Open History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more video like this one.
In 1945 at Nordhausen, Private Lee Davis found a prisoner so weak he couldn't lift his head. Davis broke his chocolate ration and placed it in the man's mouth. The prisoner wept, whispering, "Thank you." He later called Davis the man who brought taste back to the world. On December 6, 1912, German archaeologists uncovered one of history's most iconic treasures, the painted limestone bust of Queen Nefertiti. Buried in the sands of Amarna for over 3,000 years, its discovery revealed an image of timeless beauty and power. In February 1943, as the Battle of Stalingrad reached its brutal climax, a weary German officer commends a soldier for his unyielding courage and sacrifices on the frozen front lines. Amid defeat and despair, this moment reflects the last fragments of morale. In 1954 Moscow, a factory scene captures a tense moment between a female supervisor and her worker. The man looks resentfully at his boss while she asserts authority, reflecting the pressures and conflicts in Soviet industrial workplaces during post-war recovery. In 1963 Sicily, an Italian family of 5 rides a single Lambretta scooter, including a pregnant mother and a child in front. They laugh and enjoy the thrilling ride, capturing the joyful spirit and daring everyday life of southern Italy. In the 1910s, a man rides a tiny motorized vehicle, resembling a classic car of the era, but scaled down like a toy. The miniature design blends early automotive style with playful experimentation, capturing a whimsical moment in the evolving world of motor vehicles. Between 1859 and 1875, Edward and Henry T. Anthony captured the awe-inspiring Horseshoe Falls at Niagara. Their photography preserved the immense power and natural beauty of the waterfalls, offering a glimpse into one of North America's most iconic natural wonders during the 19th century. In 1945, during the liberation of Dachau, a young American soldier gave his wool coat to a starving prisoner. Too weak to speak, the man kissed the soldier's sleeve. The GI later wrote, "It was the only thank you I ever needed." Louisa May Alcott, 1832 to 1888, was an American writer and women's rights advocate best known for Little Women. Growing up in Concord among literary greats, she drew from her own childhood to craft stories of resilience, independence, and the joys and struggles of young women. In May 1945, Soviet IS-2 tank crew members in Berlin observed a column of German prisoners. The IS-2, a heavy tank introduced in 1944, combined powerful armor and firepower, reflecting the intense final battles on the Eastern Front as World War II drew to a close. On November 12, 1944, Private Samuel Hayes, an American soldier, sits exhausted in a trench, clutching a letter to his wife and children. Surrounded by mud, smoke, and chaos, he writes with trembling hands, capturing his thoughts in a moment that feels dangerously close to death. In 1946, a young Norma Jean poses with her mother and half-sister Bernice on Santa Monica Beach. The sun glints on the sand and waves as the family shares a candid, joyful moment, capturing the simplicity and warmth of post-war California summers. In 1951, Norman Rockwell's Saying Grace shows a quiet, tender moment in a bustling restaurant. An elderly woman and young boy bow their heads in prayer while other diners continue their meals, capturing the warmth, simplicity, and everyday humanity of post-war America. In late 19th century South Africa, a baboon named Jack worked as a railway signalman from 1881 to 1890. Trained by a disabled signalman, he earned 20 cents a day, half a beer weekly, and never made a mistake. Jack became a legend, remembered at Grahamstown's Albany Museum. General George S. Patton, Jr., commander of the U.S. Third Army, began World War II as a 2-star general. Through brilliant leadership and daring maneuvers, he rose to 4-star rank by war's end, becoming one of the most celebrated American generals of the conflict. In 1944, an American soldier discovered a cracked but smiling porcelain doll among the ruins of a bombed French village. Carrying it through the remainder of the war, he explained, "Some little girl couldn't take it, so I'll keep it safe." He cherished it until his death at 82. In 1954, Norman Rockwell's Breaking Home Ties captures a poignant farewell as a young man prepares to leave home for college. Sitting on the tailgate with his father and a loyal dog, he reflects on change and family bonds, framed by the worn textures of a rural pickup truck. In 1985, Hungary, identical twins János and István Lukács shared a life of tireless routine and close companionship. From early mornings tending animals to evenings in a clay-walled farmhouse or barn, their days were inseparable, marked by identical habits, clothing, and bicycles.
At Buchenwald in 1945, a young boy played a broken harmonica each night, his music defying cruelty and giving prisoners a fragile sense of humanity. Though he vanished after liberation, decades later survivors still recalled his haunting tune, humming it softly in quiet moments. In spring 1945, Berlin lay in ruin as flames engulfed the Französischer Dom, dark smoke curling into a gray sky. Amidst rubble and destruction, survivors wandered cautiously, witnessing the city's dramatic end and the heavy cost of a war that had left much of Europe scarred and silent. On September 3, 1940, children of hop pickers in Kent hid in a slit trench at the edge of a field, eyes fixed on the sky as fighter planes clashed above during the Battle of Britain. Their small figures contrasted with the vast, war-torn skies of a nation under siege. Stephen Dohanos's 1950 painting, Working on the Jalopy, shows 5 young men in a sunny backyard focused on a classic blue car. From tinkering underneath to painting its fender, the scene captures youthful energy, teamwork, and creativity in a lively, sunlit moment. In 2003, near Kirkuk, Iraq, a U.S. soldier stands amid hundreds of gold bars seized at a checkpoint. Piled high in a rusty red container, the 999 bars glint in the sun as the soldier, in full camouflage and sunglasses, surveys the hall with hands on his hips. In 1947 in Georgia, USA, a local farmer brought his watermelon cart into town each summer, offering slices to anyone passing by. Known as the Taste of August, his generosity created a joyful scene, connecting neighbors with the simple pleasures of fresh fruit and community spirit. In the early 20th century, enka performers evolved from street corner political agitators into professional singers and publishers of sheet music. Before radio and phonographs became widespread, these artists played a vital role in sharing and popularizing music across Japan. In Treblinka, 1943, as prisoners were led to the gas chambers, a man held his young daughter and softly sang a lullaby. The gentle melody, barely audible, offered comfort amidst horror. Witnesses recalled that the final sound there was not screams, but a father's song. In the 1920s, a group of young women celebrate New Year's Eve in an elegantly decorated room. One woman stands on a table, pouring champagne and smiling, while friends around her laugh and cheer. The festive hats and sparkling glasses capture the joyful spirit of the era. In Union County, 1901, outlaw Tom Ketchum faced his final moments on the gallows. A miscalculated drop led to his instant decapitation, shocking the gathered crowd. This haunting image reflects the harsh, improvised justice of the Old West and the grim end of a notorious criminal. The bustling marketplace of ancient Rome teems with merchants calling out their wares, olives, bread, wine, while a senator in his toga walks past. Beggars reach from the shadows of marble columns, showing an empire where grandeur and poverty coexist, built on both triumph and toil. Helen Keller embraces a World War II veteran whose sight was severely damaged during combat. Through her work with the American Foundation for the Blind, she provided support and hope to those who had sacrificed their vision in service, embodying compassion and dedication. In 1944, amidst the ruins of a war-torn Italian town, a weary American soldier shares his scant rations with a loyal German shepherd named Faith. This simple act of kindness amidst chaos reflects the enduring power of compassion and the quiet bonds that sustain humanity. Painted by Walter Langley around 1890, this scene shows villagers on a sandy shore, observing the quiet routines of daily life. An elderly man reads his newspaper while others watch nearby, capturing calm, communal moments by the sea in late 19th century England. In August 1940, German soldiers sit casually on the terrace of Paris's Café de Flore along Boulevard Saint-Germain. Their relaxed poses contrast with the tense occupation, capturing a fleeting moment of daily life under wartime control in the heart of the French capital. In 1912, New York City's streets are alive with activity. Men, almost all wearing similar white hats, walk alongside women in long dresses. Early automobiles navigate the busy thoroughfare, while the dense buildings frame the uniform yet bustling energy of this growing metropolis. In 1944, wounded German tank soldiers, captured and now prisoners, reveal their wooden prosthetic legs. Despite the harsh realities of war, they display resilience and adaptation, a stark reminder of the human cost of armored combat and the sacrifices endured on the front lines. In 1946, Norman Rockwell captured workers atop the torch of the Statue of Liberty, performing maintenance under a clear sky. Their skill and courage highlight the unseen labor behind iconic symbols, a tribute to craftsmanship and dedication that keeps the torch of freedom shining for all.
In 1945 at Buchenwald, a young boy no older than 12, too weak to eat the bread given by U.S. soldiers, handed it to a fellow prisoner instead. Even at the edge of death, his act of generosity shone, a haunting reminder of humanity amid unimaginable suffering. In 1924, a young Sadegh Hedayat in Paris, immersed in the vibrant streets and cafes of the city, cultivated his literary voice. These early years abroad shaped the mind of one of Iran's most influential and modernist writers, whose works would later redefine Persian literature. On August 19, 1942, Allied forces launched Operation Jubilee at Dieppe, France. Intended to test German defenses, the raid became a costly lesson. Of 5,000 Canadian troops, 3,600 were killed, wounded, or captured. Yet the hard-won insights shaped the success of future amphibious assaults. In 1945, American soldiers liberated Buchenwald. Among the children, a frail boy, too weak to stand, raised a trembling salute. The simple gesture moved even the toughest soldiers. One GI embraced him, whispering, "No more salutes. You're safe now." That boy grew up in America, always remembering that first gift of freedom, a hug. In spring 1864, William Hedley escaped bondage near Raleigh, North Carolina, trekking 6 grueling weeks through wilderness to reach Union-held New Bern on May 20th. A rare photo captures him upright and calm, embodying resilience and the quiet strength of a man claiming his freedom. In Normandy, 1944, brothers Jack and William landed on Omaha Beach together. When William was struck, Jack refused to leave him, dragging him to cover. But William didn't survive. Jack kept his promise, carrying his brother back to the boat, a haunting act of devotion. In Mississippi, 1929, a solitary fisherman hung a lantern on the bridge each foggy night. Its warm glow guided travelers safely across the river. Locals said the light felt like a friend waiting for you, a quiet beacon of care in the misty darkness. Omaha Beach, 1944. After D-Day, Army nurse Clara Thompson carried a small notebook, writing the names of every young soldier she tended. Whispering each aloud, she promised they would not be forgotten. Decades later, her pages were discovered, a quiet testament to honor. Circa 1916, a German soldier peers cautiously through a rudimentary trench periscope, Mauser rifle in hand. Amid the mud and danger of the Western Front, Even such simple devices offered a vital edge, a fragile thread of safety in a relentless, unseen battlefield. In a crumbling, war-torn building, 3 German soldiers brace against chaos. One feeds ammunition, another fires a belt-fed machine gun through dust and smoke, while the third takes aim through a shattered window. Amid ruin, their focus and resolve define survival in World War II's relentless battles. In the bitter winter of 1944-45, American soldiers refuel an M4 Sherman tank in Belgium. The frozen landscape, muddy terrain, and armored giant highlight the harsh conditions of the European front, where every moment of preparation could mean survival or defeat. In 1945, amidst the horrors of Dachau, a prisoner secretly played a hidden violin. His trembling fingers wove melodies that uplifted the broken spirits of fellow inmates. Restored after the war, this violin of hope continues to honor resilience and humanity. In 1944, in a Hungarian labor camp, a grandmother wove threads from her dress into a scarf for her grandson. The boy wore it until it unraveled, a fragile symbol of love and hope amid despair. When it fell apart, the threads were all that remained. After the D-Day invasion in 1944, American soldiers pause amid the chaos to comfort a little girl and her puppy. In a world defined by conflict, this tender moment reminds us that compassion can survive even in the darkest hours. In the Warsaw Ghetto, 1942, a boy carved a small wooden horse from scrap wood. He kept it on the windowsill and whispered to it each night. When he was taken away, the horse remained behind. At Auschwitz in 1944, a young woman received half a crust of bread from a fellow prisoner. She gave it to 2 starving children instead, saying, "They need it more than I need hope." She collapsed the next morning, while the children survived the war. In 1916, weary French soldiers were photographed resting at a train station in Paris. Their faces and postures reveal the fatigue of long marches and the relentless strain of war, a quiet pause amidst the chaos of the Great War. Karl Fuchs, a young German soldier and former village schoolteacher, wrote letters revealing his journey from hope and ambition to the grim reality of the Eastern Front. Married with a son he never met, his words capture the clash between youthful idealism and wartime brutality.
En route de Rouen in Grandbourg-Théruld, late August 1944, 3 German Fallschirmjäger and a motorcyclist pause on a BMW R75 with sidecar during the retreat from Normandy. Their stance captures tension and the hurried uncertainty of retreating forces. At Auschwitz in 1942, Edith Stein, philosopher, nun, and Jew, helped frightened children from the train. One girl froze in fear. Edith took her hand and whispered a prayer. They walked through the gate together, never to return. Union Square, New York, circa 1948 to 1950, captured from Orbach's window. Rain-slicked streets reflect city lights as pedestrians, umbrellas in hand, navigate the bustling intersection. Cars and vintage buses move past illuminated storefronts, painting a lively mid-century scene.
Thanks for watching. Got an idea for a forgotten era I should explore? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to make it.